Hi and welcome to Leitrim Daily. My name is Breifne Earley and you are listening to the sports show here on the channel. It's episode 130 and we're taking a look back over the action across the weekend. We're talking soccer, rugby, Gaelic football and a little bit of boxing over the next half hour or so. In soccer, both Glencar Manor and Carrick Town, both at home, a mixed bag of results. We'll be talking about both games. Carrick Town 3-0 winners over their opponents in the shape of Yeats United, while Glencar Manor also in action against Sligo opposition, Strand Celtic this time, but unfortunately beaten by the odd goal in 5-3-2 to Strand Celtic on that, despite Manor opening a 2-0 lead early in the game. We'll be talking Gaelic football and particularly the under-20 grade. We'll be talking to both captains, Jack Barnes and Jack Gilheaney, of the two teams through to next week's A final, and they are St Mary's and also Fenagh St. Caillins. We'll also be talking to Donnacha Devaney of Glencar Manor, but his disappointment with how the competition has gone for Glencar Manor. He's very upset about how things have panned out, and I think he'd be worth listening to later on in the show. We'll also have a response to his interview from Leitrim GAA. In terms of rugby, both Sligo and Carrick in action this weekend. We'll talk about their games later on in the show, and we'll finish off with a look at the boxing National Elite Championships, where Manor Hamilton's, or at least Sean McDermott's in Manor Hamilton, their fighter Dean Clancy was in quarter-final action on Friday. He got through on a unanimous decision. More on that later in the show. First, we're going to start off with soccer, and this time it is Carrick Town who welcomed Yeats United to the showgrounds on the Boyle Road for their Super League clash, or their Premier League clash, I should say, in the second tier of the Sligo Leitrim District League. I caught up with some of their players after the game. Double goal scorer Shane Walsh and Kyle McNabola spoke to me, as well as their manager Jason Kavanagh. Jason Kavanagh, 3-0 victory today. You must be happy.
Yeah, I'm delighted with the lads now. First half was very slow, but the second half they went out and they changed the pace of the game, and 3 good goals, 3 good team goals.
It's been a tough month, I suppose, maybe for the club. Some pretty heavy defeats on the road. Nice to be back, clean sheet, back to basics.
Yeah, clean sheet, back to basics, back to simple football. Last week we played the best football we played all year, believe it or not. The scoreline says different, but we played some really, really good football. A few mistakes that led to the goals. That was our own fault, but we learned from them mistakes. We worked on them over the week in training, and clean sheet and 3 good team goals today.
In terms of the makeup of the team, there's a couple of newer players come in, maybe that have finished up their Gaelic seasons and have come to add some strength to that side. How much of an impact do those players make?
Big impacts, as you've seen today. 2 of them who played at GAA scored the goals for us today. And the goalkeeper now, he's been here from the start, but he was away in America. So this was his first game now today for us, and not a bad way to introduce yourself to all your teammates with a clean sheet, is it?
No, he looked pretty solid there for most of the game. In terms of where the club goes from here, what's the hope for pushing on?
Basically, to build on what we've done today, basically, is more clean sheets, more of that attacking football, because that's what Carrick have always been known for, is attacking football. So we need to bring that back into the lads. And going forward now, it's hopefully going to be more clean sheets, more attacking football, more goals.
You play Claremorris next week away in the Connacht Cup.
That's actually been postponed till the 3rd of January. The Mayo dinner dance is on, so all the Mayo teams had to pull out. So we have a league game now next week. Just have to figure out who it is.
You find out during the week. Yeah. No, I'm sure. In terms of the overall season so far, what have you been overriding thoughts on how it's been developing for you?
The start of it now was a bit hard. The last month now has been hard. I said to the lads before kick-off that we're going to kick-start our season today, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to kick-start and move on. We got a good result in penalties against Coolani in the Cup, and then we got that heavy 5-2 defeat, and now we're after getting a 3-0 win. So our season's up and down. The lads know themselves that they can play some great football, and once we have a full team out there, you've seen it yourself. We play some amazing football. Some of the true balls that led to the goals today were absolutely fantastic. So over the next 2 months now, going into January now, we're hoping to win all our games that we have to try and boost our season and push us up that table, because where we're sitting now, it doesn't reflect on how we're playing. So,
in terms of this being your first season back at adult level in the Sligo Leitrim District League, in terms of the consistency going forward, do you think that little bit of experience now of actually getting games and wins and clean sheets under their belt, that might help be more consistent from week to week?
Yeah, well, we've got one of the old Carrick players now playing for us as well, Sean Hayden. He played for the old Carrick senior team, so we have that seniority now on defence as well, and we have it in midfield, and we have it going up front. So all the lads are bouncing off each other now. They're enjoying their football. We had a good training session Tuesday, good training session Friday. So we just push forward and we just keep doing what we're doing. As long as there's smiles on faces, the lads know how they can play football.
Well, listen, Jason, congratulations. Great result today. A good performance to go with the goals and the clean sheet. Very best luck for the rest of the season. We'll be checking in with you as the season progresses.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Shane Walsh, now we're used to seeing you in a different form of blue, sky blue, Alan Gales, but 2 goals today. You must be happy with that?
Yeah, delighted. It was a slow start to the game, and we just didn't seem to have any rhythm to our play or anything, but in the second half we just kind of let the shackles off a bit and things kind of came a bit smoother to us, and the goals came naturally, I think, then. But great to get the win.
The second finish in particular was nice, just the edge of the box, just drilled it into the bottom corner.
It was. I was lucky enough, Callum seen me come through up the wing, and it was a lovely flick on, and only for that, that kind of opened up the space, and then it was an easy finish after that because so much space it opened up. But nice to get the goal as well. Yeah.
A lot of different regions involved in the club here. I'm looking at lads coming out of the dressing room, and you've got Alan Gales tops and the Duff tops, some tops from GAA clubs across North Roscommon. It really does pull in a huge area of lads through the winter. It might not be, I suppose, active with their GAA clubs or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great outlet for the winter because the winter months can be long enough, when you're not up tenting. But there's lads from Fenagh all across South Leitrim, and it's great to have it here because there was nothing there for 2 or 3 years, and it's great to have the club up running again, and it seemed to be going okay. Just finding our feet again. And
have you played soccer the whole way through your career?
I haven't. No, I played up as far as under 16 here with Carrick, and then I played a bit last year up in Dublin as well with Lucan. So I suppose that kind of got me interested again. And I said, sure, when I was coming home, I was as well tog out with Carrick, seeing as the team set up, and you take great pride in representing local teams as well. Just to keep it up, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, listen, Shane, congratulations. 2 great goals. Good start to the home career. 3-0 victory. Can't beat it.
Exactly, yeah, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going now into the next couple of games and take it from there.
Listen, congratulations, Ken.
Thanks, Breifne.
Kyle McNabola, you must be happy with that result. 3-0, first clean sheet of the season.
Yeah, delighted with it. 3 good goals, clean sheet. Can't ask for more than that.
It's been a tough couple of weeks for Carrick, some hefty enough defeats over the last few weeks, but nice to be back to winning ways at home.
Yeah, I think our last win was probably about a month ago. That's our 3rd win in the league now, so it's good to get it under our belt. Hopefully we can kick on now and push on for the rest of the season.
In terms of your own performance, didn't start today. Happy enough with the game?
Yeah, obviously no one's ever happy to start on the bench, but you just got to make the impact whenever you can get on, and thankfully I think I gave a good account of myself when I did get on. So.
You're a big fan of those cheeky little turns and flicks and stuff. You coach under the 13 side in Longford Town. Would you be happy enough if you saw one of them pulling them off in games?
Be delighted. Be absolutely delighted if they could manage it.
If they could manage it, being the operative word. Talk to us a little bit about the club and the return to the league this year, because it's the first year we've had a senior team, and everything has to be kind of in that context of most of these lads have not played senior adult football before.
Yeah, of course. It's my first entrance into senior football as well. Several of the lads are the same. I think everything's a bonus really for us. The fact that we actually have a team at all, have to take everything with a, pinch of salt, I suppose. So 3rd win, to have it so early on, I suppose, in the season is good to have, and we're still in all the cups, so hopefully we can kick on for the rest of the season because first season back, the more success the better.
Connacht Cup kicks off next week. You're out in action. Would that be kind of a nice dream to maybe compete, get a nice run going in one of those competitions?
We've got Clare Morris, obviously it's a big team. Connacht Cup's an opportunity to play against bigger teams and give a good account of yourselves on maybe a bigger stage, and you've got a lot more eyes on you and stuff. So yeah, if we can pick them off, we'll just take it one game at a time. As I said, we're not going to dream too big yet. We're just going to take it as it comes, I suppose.
It's a pretty cold day, not a great day in November to be playing a game of football. How does it feel compared to what you're used to playing Gaelic through the summer with Fenagh?
It's not too bad. It's a bit slicker out there, but it's nice to get dirty and get stuck in. I'll not complain about it.
Listen, Kyle, congratulations today. Great performance from the team and from yourself, and good result.
Thank you very much.
Now, as well as Carrick Town, Manor Rangers were also in league action in the Super League in the Sligo Leitrim District League, and they welcomed Strand Celtic to the B Park, knowing a win would maintain second spot at least in the leaderboard, but it was not to be. Both sides in top form, and the first half remained scoreless. Robbie Cunningham netted for Manor, with Aaron Hickey getting their second from the penalty spot, but Strand got a lifeline courtesy of an own goal from Mark Kavanagh, who was unfortunate to concede in a brave attempt to clear off the line. Strand then scored through Conor McKeown, and minutes from time Barry O'Mahony cracked home the winner to snatch a great victory for Strand Celtic that puts them into mid-table in the position, but does not help Manor Rangers' attempts to get up to the top of the table, which was the hope for this weekend. In Gaelic games, it was the turn of the under-20 age group in the county as the A Championship reached the semi-final stage. Two games, both taking place yesterday afternoon at 2 p.m. in Carrick Town and Ballinamore, where St Mary's hosted Glencar Manor and ran out on a fairly straightforward victory of 322 to 1-3, while in Ballinamore it wasn't to be for the home side as McDermott Gaels were beaten 3-7 to 3-18 by their neighbours Fenagh St. Caillins. After the Fenagh victory, I caught up with their captain Jack Gilheaney. Now, the final of the Under-20 A Championship will take place next weekend, and St Mary's opponents in that game will be Fenagh after they came through a pretty bruising encounter with McDermott Gaels, a good local derby played in Ballinamore. And Jack Gilheaney, the captain of Fenagh St Caillins, joins me now. Jack, welcome to the programme.
Thanks for having me, Breifne.
No problem at all. Tell us a little bit about the game, Jack.
Yeah, well, look, we obviously knew going into it that McDermott Gaels had beaten Melvin Gaels up in Bundoran last week and beat them well. So we had no complacency going into the game, and then we kind of, at the start, we got off to a good start and raced into about a 6 or 7 point lead, I think. And then McDermott Gaels came back and got 2 or 3 goals anyway before half time. And then kind of it was tit for tat then throughout most of the second half. It was only then we got Reardon O'Rourke, our full forward, got a goal about 50 minutes to go, and it was only then that we really kicked on. So I think the scoreline doesn't actually really reflect how tough the game was. You know, I think in the end we might have won by 10 or 11 points, but you know, I think that definitely doesn't reflect how close it was throughout the game, especially for you know, kind of the midway point from of the game. So
yeah, because
it's tough one.
I was getting updates via text from someone who was at the game, and with about 5 minutes to go in the Carrick match and the St Mary's game against Manor Hamilton, I got an update. There was 2, maybe 3 points between the sides, but obviously you just cut loose for the last few, just to put a little bit of a gloss on the scoreline. Yeah,
it was really like probably the last 10 minutes. I think we got maybe 2-3, 2-4, and that did put a major gloss on the scoreline. You know, it's those goals, you know, and some of the goals as well. The last goal kind of came from a dodgy kick out from the Ballinamore keeper. It was kind of just straight to Reardon. He finished it well, but yeah, no, like the scoreline, as I said, the scoreline just didn't reflect how tough the game really was. Particularly in the middle third of the game, it was, you know, McDermott Gaels were well fit for the result. Like so.
In terms of the actual game today, you proceed now to play St Mary's. They've been very impressive. They annihilated Glencar Manor today, and they had a very good win against a solid Mull side last week as well. Do you hold any fear for them, or are you looking forward to the challenge?
Yeah, well, obviously, you look forward to every game, but you know, the way I see it, Mary's should be massive favourites to this game. You know, this particular team that they have, a lot of young quality footballers. You know, probably have it's only 13 aside at this under 20s, and they probably have no weak players. You know, they're very well organised. Won a lot the whole way up. You know, they're a big town team. You know, we'll be going in as underdogs, and we're a small kind of rural parish. So it's a massive challenge for us, but at the same time, it's one you relish. You know, these are the days you play football for. You know, championship finals. So can't wait now for next Sunday. At the moment. You
touched on something quite interesting there, because obviously Fenagh St Caillins are their own team. You're from a small rural part of the county, and yet we look at other clubs that are amalgamated together. Even your opponents today, McDermott Gaels, Carrick's opponents last week were Mull, Clune and Estlin. So they're all 2 or 3 clubs come together to form teams. Despite that, and the fact that you're from such a small area, you've still got to the final. You must be immensely proud of that.
Yeah, it's just like, as I said, we are we're a proud club. We've proud people involved. It's so it is a great honour to get to this final. Especially I suppose we beat two clubs today, but at the same time, you have to still take the final on merit, and Carrick are going to be a serious opposition. So we can't. There's probably no point going to a final unless you're going to show up and actually perform on the day. So looking forward to it.
Your adult team, your junior side, were the only team to beat a Glencar Manor adult team in knockout competition this year in the championship, winning that Junior B championship back a few weeks ago. Is there much of a turnover between those two squads, and the fact that you were still involved in adult football at that point of the season, has that helped you in the preparation for today's game?
Yeah, there's a massive turnover between the Junior B team and the 20s. I say there was a few weeks there kind of when our first team finished up after a relegation playoff. The juniors kind of took over, and then the 20s kind of we all trained together. There's no point to say there's we've 13 starters now on the 20, so I said 9 or 10 of them were probably starting for the junior team. So that does help. It keeps the fluidity going in the squad, and it meant kind of right through September, October, and now into November that lads have been training, and every weekend they'll be meeting up and stuff. So that does help. Particularly now when you get to this end of the season.
In terms of the kind of medium to long term, looking forward with next year, kind of now not that far away, in terms of this under-20 team reaching a county final, it hasn't been a great year for Fenagh at adult level,
no.
Especially at the Division 1 level, where you've suffered relegation in the league, and as you said, you just came through that playoff in the championship to hold on to your senior status. Does this group of players coming through give some hope to people in the club that the return to maybe better days is ahead for that first team within the club?
Yeah, well, we'd hope so. I mean, there's probably a lot of this under-20 team will be pushing for starting places in the senior team next year. So, I suppose maybe we've targeted even the junior this year and the 20s this year. Probably looked at that towards maybe a springboard towards next year, because it is we do have a young team. Even at senior level, we have a very young team. But there's still no point in waiting around for lads to get older, maybe lads to go away. So you have to make use of the players while we have them. So we have been definitely using the junior and the under-20s as a springboard. So hopefully we can utilise all that and hopefully have some success next year or in the years soon after.
Well, listen, Jack, thank you very much for taking the time to have a chat with me, and well done today, and the very best of luck in the final, which I believe is due to be down next week, but I suppose time will tell when that fixture actually comes out.
That's perfect. Thanks very much, Breifne.
In Carrick and Shannon, I also spoke after the under-20 victory to Tom Crowe and their captain, Jack Barnes. Jack Barnes, your thoughts after that one-sided game?
Yeah, it was. We thought in the first 5 minutes that they gave it up to us, but we got a few scores on the board and their heads dropped. But I can't say much on the first half. It is what it is. Second half, we got a bit complacent, and we did let them score 1-3 in the second half. We shouldn't let that happen, but look, if that happens next week, it's going to be a tough game. But we know it's going to be a tough game now next week in the final, no matter who we get, no matter if it's McDermott Gaels or Fenagh St. Caillins. It's just going to be a tough one, and we just have to put our heads down and work hard for next week.
From your point of view, you get to captain the side into a county final. How much are you looking forward to that experience?
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it now. I love captaining this bunch of lads. I grew up playing with them since I was under 14, and we all gel well together. My brother's best friends with most of the players, and I grew up with Mark Diffley playing. We always played out through together, played county setups together, played with a few of the boys now in the under 20s this year. We had a great run in that. We were unlucky against Roscommon, but I'm looking forward to this under 20 championship now, because we had a lot of players in the senior setup down this year that got their game, got their run, and they're very good players, and we're looking forward to the challenge ahead.
A couple of lads getting to play today that maybe might not have got a run otherwise if the game was a little bit tighter. How much can you take out of today's game going into a final next week?
We can take a lot out of the game. Like we put up a good score. Now maybe it came a bit easy at the end, but we did put our scores over the bar. We got ourselves into tough. We tried taking goal chances, and some of them didn't come off, but we scored two or three goals in the whole game, and I just think that'll be very good for us going forward next week, because we didn't score a single goal last week, but I think we improved from last week's performance, and we showed dominance in the whole game.
Excellent, and congratulations today, and the very best of luck next week in the final.
Thank you very much, Breifne.
Tom, a bit of a one-sided game after all.
Yeah, look, we weren't aware of what Manor might bring. we were lucky we had the game last weekend, probably got them gelled together. Some of them are playing football away in college, so that, their level of fitness is decent. It's all about trying to get them, maybe to play as a group. We were lucky today that we were able to introduce a few fellas that wouldn't have had much game time, but Manor kept plugging away, and maybe we took the wrong option sometimes, but hopefully next weekend, now when it's going to be a much tougher test, whether it's Fenagh or McDermott, but we know it's going to take a huge step up in everything we did today. Hopefully the boys will be able to put it together on the day. It's a one-off event, and hopefully they'll do it that day.
What do you learn from a day like today?
I suppose you learn that some lads will keep focused throughout a game. Some lads will let the performance drop. You learn about who the leaders are on the team. Are the guys that are willing to keep it going for the whole hour? Things like that. But as you say, it's a bit one-sided. It can be difficult. But all we asked them is just to keep playing at the intensity. Maybe we just dropped off there in the last 15 minutes when we brought on the few subs. But hopefully we saw a few leaders today, and they'll be even more important next week.
Going into the game next week, what are the expectations? Because the other semi-final, pretty tight. We haven't got a final score, but there's only a handful of points in it in the tail end of the fixture in Ballinamore.
Look, at Fenagh or McDermott Gaels have always caused trouble for us at this level. Fenagh are usually excellently drilled. McDermott Gaels have that bit of power down the middle, and we'd expect a tough test from either of them. We wouldn't fancy either of them, and we wouldn't be afraid of either of them. We're prepared, and we've asked the lads to really consider the test ahead next weekend, and I suppose the final is on the day.
Well, listen, congratulations today, and what probably feels like a little bit of an easier test than you thought you'd get this morning.
Oh, definitely. But anyway, look, we're there, and we know there's something more coming, so hopefully we'll be ready.
Also after the game, I caught up with the captain of Glencar Manor, a very disappointed Donnacha Devaney. Now, he had a lot to say, particularly about the decision to make Glencar Manor field a team in the A grade in this championship. Here's what he had to say. Donnacha Devaney, tough day.
It was tough out there, yeah, but couldn't fault our boys to give it everything. I kind of fault the division and the county board more than our boys. Like, played Melvin Gales last year in this competition and 29 points, and out there today 25 points. We sent in emails, we looked to get down into Division 2 and they were ignored, and it's like, how, that's no good for any boys, our lads, they give it everything out there, and I couldn't fault them, but we're just up again at Carrick, a great side, credit where it's due, but we're in the wrong division in my opinion, and I don't know, I think our underage teams are suffering because our adult teams are successful.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you, because you've wiped the boards almost. 3 finals, 2 titles this year at adult level, and it's ultimately from the same pool of players, or from the younger pool of players that have made up those results. Can you see where the county board are coming from on that?
I can and I can't. Like, myself and Rory Sheridan was the only 2 lads out there on the senior panel. We didn't get game time all year. There was 3 of us there on that team, on our junior A team. Like, that was myself and Rory Sheridan and King Kildare again. That's 3 lads. And Carrick, I think, did 8, maybe 9 on the under-20 panel this year. And then St. Bridget's then are in the Division 2, met up with 3 clubs, Knocknasheed, Nahawill and Drumreilly. They bet Drumahare, friendly with the Drumahare lads, I think 34 points. I don't know where the logic is, to be honest with you.
So if you had an opportunity to do it yourself, how would you structure it? What would you do in that instance?
Well, the first thing I'd do is I'd talk to your county under-20 manager from last year, and he'd tell you that St. Bridget's had 5 players on the panel and Carrick had 9 or 10. We had Rory Sheridan, and how St. Bridget's is in the lower division. We scraped 15 players there today for a 13-side competition. I don't know,
Would that discourage you from getting involved in under-20s again in the future?
Well, I'm gone next year, but there's lads there, that's their only football to play. We got them out today in order to get 15, and the same last year, 29 points, 25 points. I don't know, that doesn't encourage lads, does it? It's just my opinion on it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, listen, hard luck today. I think you've got some valid points, but maybe it might be an opportunity to put something to the convention in a couple of weeks and have that officially talked about on the floor of the county convention.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll talk about it and we'll discuss it and see maybe for next year. It's just for the lads coming up. It's hard for them to go at it again next year, like under 20, when that's the results the last 2 years,
And in terms of the underage teams coming through, what's coming through from, say, under 17, under 15 in the future in the club?
There's good lads, like most of them out there. Myself and Rory Sheridan and that King Kildare were nearly the only lads going straight on. There's good lads there, but just trying to keep them interested and trying to keep them play football, and then that's the results. It's hard,
Listen, hard luck today.
Cheers.
Now, it is policy on this show that we do give all sides of an argument the right to reply. We haven't had to actually do that yet because we haven't really had an argument, but we just felt it was only fair to let the county board have their say on this matter. And I contacted the county board and I got this statement from the board earlier on Sunday evening. The grading of teams in the Under-20 Championship is the remit of the CCC, which grades teams in accordance with numbers of players available to clubs and using historical results in previous age grades. The Under-20 grading may be somewhat clouded by a greater turnover of players considering a number of factors that may occur in the 3-year gap from the last underage grade played at Under-17 level. While large defeats are far from ideal, one-sided results in any competition age grade may also occur due to the greater quality of players available to the winning side. The winning team in this case has dominated Under-17 football at Division 1 level over the past 2 years, and this is no doubt a contributory factor also, allied to the fact that they had a match already in the competition which would have placed them at a competitive advantage. Now, that's the statement from Leitrim GAA, and I suppose all we can say is that hopefully these kind of situations can be reduced in number as the competitions become more established. And I suppose it's a bit of a legacy also of that change from minor under 18 grade back to under 17, where this particular group maybe didn't get the opportunity to play at minor 2 or 3 years ago. They might have missed out on that particular grade altogether. So it's just hopefully one of those anomalies, and with any bit of luck it will be a little bit more clear-cut going forward in the competition. But I think it's important that issues like the ones raised by Donnacha, the Manor Hamilton captain, that they do get aired and the county board are made aware of them. So thank you to Donnacha for his opinions on that, and also to Declan Bohan, the PRO of Leitrim GAA, who forwarded that statement to me about the issue on behalf of Leitrim GAA. Now in rugby, Carrick and Shannon in action yesterday afternoon, and they faced a trip to Ballyhonus, who are flying high in the league table at the start of the game's play in second place. Carrick and Shannon unfortunately beaten away from home on a scoreline of 22 points to 10, or 3 tries to 1 in that particular game by Ballyhonus. They remain in second place in the table with a game in hand on the teams below them. Carrick beginning to find themselves a little bit cut adrift, the top 4, with an 8-point gap back to 5th place. And I think survival at that league is probably the target at this stage for Carrick, but there's plenty of games left in that particular competition. I think 7 games remaining, and they do look to be stronger than both Corinthians and OLBC of Galway, who hopefully will stay below them in that particular competition. They came up last year from the Division 2 grade lower down, and it's nice to see them hopefully managing to survive. They're, for a team that have lost 4 games at this grade out of 5, the points difference is still relatively low, so they haven't really been beaten out the gate by anybody, where some of their opponents haven't had the best of results. So hard luck to Carrick and Shannon Rugby Club today, as they went down to a strong Ballyhonus side in Ballyhonus yesterday afternoon, as you're listening to this on Sunday. Sligo Rugby also in action in the AIL, and they had a fantastic victory over Greystones, who going into the division were top of the table on Saturday afternoon. Greystones favourites to win the game comfortably. Sligo slightly struggling this year, and Leitrim Village's Matthew Earley was a used substitute in the second half of that game, and they held on to win by a single point, 20 points to 19. They did open the scoring early on and then fell behind for half time before stretching out again in the second half and managing to take a lead and holding on and surviving a late drop goal attempt to take all of the points on offer. No bonus point, unfortunately, but 20 points to 19, a victory over the top side in that particular competition, which is a pretty huge achievement. I caught up with Matthew after the game, and here's what we had to talk about. Now, on Saturday in the All-Ireland League in rugby, Sligo had a trip to top of the table Greystones, who had 100% record up to that point in the league. Matthew Earley, nice 1-point victory, 20 points to 19. You must be happy with that.
Yeah, very happy.
In terms of the game, how did the game go? You got a nice, good start, but then slipped out before you came back in the second half.
Yeah, we're looking really well for the first 10 minutes. We were all over them. We got a try in the first couple of minutes. and then we kind of just seemed to slack off. We got a yellow card, and they got 2 tries when we got the yellow card. But we came back strong in the second half and finished well.
From your own point of view, nice to get back on a level par in terms of 6 games played, half won, half lost, because the season had looked to be slipping away a little bit, but now you just pegged back in those teams above you in the league table.
Yeah, we had a really disappointing result last weekend against Corinthians, who were the stronger side on the day, so we were looking to set that right this weekend against the league leaders.
What were the expectations going down to Greystones? Because obviously they had 5 games played, 5 games won, bonus points in 4 of them. They never really looked like they were going to lose, and then you just came out from nowhere and caught them a little bit on the hop maybe.
Definitely the feel around the rest of the teams would have been a heavy defeat for us. We suffered a heavy defeat there last year, and but we kept the same attitude we've had all year in the camp and just went up there and did what we know we could do and beat them on their own pitch.
How are you finding the season yourself?
It's been a successful one so far, I believe, winning the Connacht League, and a much better start to the AIL than we did last season with 3-3 this year. I think we were 1-5 last year. So as long as we have a similar finish this season as we did last year, and maybe even better, we could push top spot or even second or third.
Greystone's still top of the league despite that point. There's still a 10-point gap between yourselves and them at the top of the table. Last year finished 4th in the league, which is a playoff spot. You're 3rd of the way through the games this year, 7th or 8th in the table at the moment, although not that far off that 3rd or 4th spot for the playoffs. Is the top of the table realistic?
Yeah, it's a very competitive league this year. Anyone from the offset has been looking strong to push for promotion, and as you said, there's only 10 points and that's only 2 games with bonus points, so we'll be just looking to plug away in the next few league games and get ourselves back up the table again.
Connacht Cup next week, another trip to Galway against Galwegians. Looking forward to that because you've played them twice in the league and the Connacht Senior League so far this year.
Yeah, we went down there and let ourselves down in the All-Ireland League on the first day after beating them in the Connacht League to win it, so definitely have to set a few things straight down there when we get down there next Saturday.
Be nice to add a Connacht Senior Cup title to the league one already secured.
Definitely. We'll push for 3 this year.
Well, listen, the very best of luck to you for the rest of the season. Congratulations on what was a fantastic win yesterday, and good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you very much.
And finally, we're looking at boxing, and of course the National Elite Championships are taking place over the next 10 days or so. They started on Saturday morning, and we spoke to Dean Clancy on the preview show this weekend. He was in action on Saturday night against JP Hale of Belfast, and he had a unanimous 5-0 judges' decision at the end of his bout on Saturday night. He now fights Sean Purcell from Enniskerry in the semi-final, as you're listening to this evening on Monday, with a final hopefully to come next weekend in the National Stadium. Congratulations, Dean, and the very best of luck tonight and hopefully over the course of next weekend. And that, folks, is all we have time for again this week. Thank you to all our contributors and to the various sports that looked after so well as we went around chatting to each and every single one of you. I will be back on Friday with another sports preview of next weekend's action. Talk to you then.